Yeah, I finally got ahead on videos. Um, till let's see, I got Friday and Monday. Wait a minute. Yeah, I think I'm ahead 2 videos or something like that. Because I went out today and uh, I running off the back of Darren did starting a fire, and so I went out and did that, and that was pretty cool.
So the house went on fire, or just a little bonfire?
Oh no, just about 10 acres in the back lot there burnt down a little bit. All right, hey
Paradise.
everybody, welcome to the welcome to the new welcome to the No Borders Homesteaders podcast. We are here. I have with me Marilyn from Little Homestead by the Beach, Patrick Cost. Is it Cost or Costa?
Cost.
Patrick Cost from the YouTube channel Patrick Cost, and Remy from Rem's Family Farm.
Yeah.
And then you got me. I'm just tagging along off the shirt tails of their fame. Anyway,
So
tonight,
famous.
what's that?
Unfamous.
Hey, I knew Bucket List Homestead when she had under 1,000 subscribers.
True.
Now she's over 20,000. And I'm growing incrementally, little bit by little bit. Which is good. Which is good. We want that. But I need to start putting more effort into recording. I've for a while here. February's a hard month for me. The war comes back, and because Desert Storm was fought in February, and it just plays with my moods, and I get that bad, and I just sit and stuff my face with snacks and all that stuff. So I got to get back into more oomph. But tonight we're going to be talking about homesteading skills that we think that everyone should have, or work on or develop. And that's the thing. You will never have all the skills you want. You will never have all the skills you need. However, you can always gain more skills. I have been working one of my videos. I embarrassed myself shooting my pistol. And it's not on here, YouTube. Leave me alone.
Yeah, what did you do?
for educational purposes only it was. But well, I am left eye dominant, but right-handed. And so I shot, but I used my right eye, and all my rounds were hitting to the left. And I'm like, man, it's because I shot with my right eye instead of my left eye. Because instead of going like this, I go like this.
So a skill or a detriment?
Well, it's a skill. It's actually a skill that disappears. But my very first pistol, I stopped carrying because it always shot to the left. So I pulled that out and shot it with my left eye, and that sucker I ate the center out of the target.
So you have to change your habit.
Yeah, I have.
Crazy.
The thing is that's how I convinced Wendy to let me buy my new, or the pistol I normally carry, was by saying, honey, I can't trust this gun. I can't hit what I'm aiming at with it. Oops. I ended up with a new gun. But
sorry, Wendy.
yeah.
Any
Some
excuse
skills-
is an excuse.
Yeah, I don't think she'll I don't think she'll hold it against me. But in that, skills are perishable. Um, because I learned with my new pistol to use my left eye. Um, because I can't shift. I can't shift to left-handed. But I hadn't fired and I haven't used that skill in so long. It started to perish. I mean, I'm still on paper. I'm still doing good, but that skill had started to deteriorate. Have you guys experienced that with any homesteading skills? That there are some perish. What would you say would be a perishable skill if you don't keep up on it?
I think it's the case with pretty much anything you do. If you don't at least stay focused on the job at task, like I usually every year I put hair snares. I remember doing that since I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and I used to catch a bunch of rabbits every single time. This year, last year, and the year before, I didn't catch one single rabbit.
Wow.
What am I doing wrong? I don't know, but I feel like if I didn't stop doing it, I would just be able to go there and say, okay, well, the rabbit is doing this, so you kind of lose track of. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, what the rabbit was doing, like how he was reacting. Why was my snare in a certain way when I got there? Like, why did the rabbit chew through the wires? Like, what did I do wrong? Not tight enough? Too tight? Too much? Too big? Too small? It's the kind of thing that if you have it like this big, it can be perfect, but you just shrink it for like a little bit and it can make a whole difference. So when you do it often, you just remember this is how it has to be. And I feel like it's pretty much the same with everything. I mean, of course, you know how to plant a seed. You're not going to lose that skill. But when it gets to stuff that's a little bit bigger, even if it's just about fishing or how to trim a tree or how to transplant, your honeyberries that you have behind your house, if you don't do it at least a couple of times every now and then, you might lose some details that might make a difference on the long run.
Totally agree. Yeah, yeah. To me, I think it's the health thing. Like running, being active, very active. Like I tend to do stuff, but you don't think about being very healthy. You think about doing stuff. You're active, but I don't know if that's a skill or not. But that's I think what
Oh, it
is
is.
missing. Um, the motricity skills.
Yeah.
But more seriously, it's the skill that I think I need to. It's logging every year. Like or taking care of the firewood and stuff like that. It's like always a chore, borderline. Like not wanting to and have to slash. Why it's not too bad. It's fun. So to me, it's like a perpetual learning every year, just by doing stuff like that. That's one of the thing I do a lot.
I think for me it's not
I forgot to bring Patrick up. I'm sorry.
Don't
I think
worry.
it's not that perishable, but I think it's kind of the memory. Uh, to continue with Patrick was talking about health, but also mental health and memory loss. I mean, every year you have to read about canning, know the time you have to can and what did you plant, where did you plant, when, what did work or not. You won't remember in a few weeks where what you plant where. So
Yeah.
and the more we go, I think the less we remember.
Yeah. And you know, with the health thing, I think that is a mindset. We can get out of that mindset. I've been doing a lot, um, trying to rebuild skills that I had when I was young, dumb, and in the army. Um, Proper procedure for things, because I've kind of lost sight of the prepper side of homesteading. I've got food, I've got medical, I've got all that stuff, but my skills, my bushcraft, my even tactic stuff. And so I've been watching stuff. We have on YouTube, with YouTube and Patreon and all these different venues with social media right now. We are so lucky because we have access. Trevor um uh took his son's truck to my friend's garage to fix the brakes. The calipers and the brakes were locking right up on it. And so he bought new brakes and stuff. And Trevor went on YouTube because he used to be a professional mechanic. He went on YouTube to review. Okay, this is what's involved. This is the tools I'm going to need to prepare himself to do that. And I've done that with cooking, with recipes and stuff like
Mhm.
that. Um, and and on the health side, you know, one of the guys was talking the other day, and he's like, listen, he says, you can have all the cool tactical toys and gadgets, you can know all the tactics in your head that you want, but if you can't run from here to the next firing position or whatever, what good is all that, you know? um and I think it's all the mindset with the various skills and stuff that we have, um that we're constantly learning. I think of Annie is constantly taking classes, on market gardening and soil and all this other stuff. And it's just really impressive with everything else she's got going on. Um,
Yeah, Remy is right too about the doing stuff all the time makes you remember stuff. You know,
mhm.
like and by all means, I wasn't born into homesteading, so everything I learned was like in the last 10, 15
Yeah.
years, and but really, it's lifelong learning, right? Like everything. Like today, I was talking to Kay about hunting stuff, and I never hunt, but I know about hunting for some reason, and it's because I don't know, I've been surrounded by people that hunt and stuff like that. But that's a skill I want to acquire more than like maintain or to remember. I know Remy's been doing that since he was very young, so like when he do stuff, he's like on autopilot, you know.
Yeah.
So when you learn something, to me, it's like where and how can I get to that point where it's an automation, you know?
Mhm.
So I can't wait to learn stuff and do stuff. So I get to that point of being at ease with everything. And sometimes I give up after that, or I don't go further. Like I'm very resourceful, but I'm not like good or like very
Persistent.
prolific. Yeah, um, of something. But I can't do everything, and I think that's something I think I became because I needed to, with everything that there's to be around and to go for, So, yeah, so you have to be good at everything.
Well, yeah, proficient at the very least. And we do have. I suggest when you learn a new skill, um, put it in a binder. I have a homestead binder that Wendy used to keep, and I was looking through it the other day, and there is all sorts of stuff in there: medicine, triage, recipes for canning and stuff like that, that she could look on and say, hey, you know, I want to make this. How do I make apple butter, which is something that she made a lot of because we both really enjoyed it. But so I think we're saying kind of that staying up on things, continuing to practice them routinely. And what are some, I think we touched on it, some skills that that fall into that area.
I think that as much as most homesteaders keep saying that they like to be on their own, they like to be away from other people, I think that we can all agree that each and every one of us have skills to be able to go out there and ask for help if needed, or we can offer help. Maybe sometimes it's not about asking, but more about giving, so that when you actually need help yourself, you know that some people are going to come and help. I think that in terms of skills, person to person skills is really, really important, and we need to keep that community going. We need to be able to be part of a community, because let's face it, you won't do it on your own, and you need to be able to find the resources, like we've been talking about, taking classes, asking for help or helping other people, or even if it's just, I decided to go help Serge, and he's giving me knowledge in exchange. And I'm also giving him knowledge in exchange, because there's a few things that I know that he doesn't, because there's a big gap. Well, not too big, but I mean, there's about 20 years difference between him and I. So he's got some of the old knowledge, a little bit more, and I get some of that new stuff that's coming out that, hey, did you know that new trick? That kind of stuff. So in a way, we're both helping each other out, because we're not afraid to be around each other. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have that skill, where you can actually talk to people and be around people.
Communication skills.
Yeah.
But
That's the point there.
At the same time, you have to acquire the skill to do by yourself.
Yeah.
Because
True.
there's not always people around you, or at the moment you need them. But yeah, you learn that a new skill is learning how to search for things, or to search for people, or construct your community, and then go from there by yourself, or
Learn how to learn skills.
Yeah. Learn how to learn. Learning is a skill, and everybody does it slightly different. I remember I was just cutting points on poles to use them as fence posts around the garden. I replaced them with treated stuff now. Well, most of them. And I had to figure out how I was going to. Wendy wasn't here. I was out in the yard. We were just the first time we were doing it. We were fencing in the garden, and I had to figure out how I was going to secure each fence post so that I could cut the point with the chainsaw, because that was the quickest, and it's going to be underground, so it didn't have to be pretty. And I think that there are times community is very important. Like you're not going to be able to raise everything you need for food wise. However, if you can raise what you raise with enough to share and trade with your community, bartering and trading is a skill, and we saw it. Oh my goodness, it was on a either live stream or a premiere. Tammy from the Rebel Canners was talking about how she loved to see there were people bartering. They were trading stuff in the chat, in the live chat, and that was just so cool. You don't see much of that anymore.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen
Better.
anymore.
Yeah, even better. It's to do stuff without expecting a barter or without expecting anything.
Yeah.
That's like that's true. It's even deeper than barter and stuff.
Well, yeah. It's like my neighbor Misty and Alex. She pulled up, well, last week I guess it was, with a big old thing of lasagna for me. And I'm like, yes, I hit it. I told her straight out, right? You tell Alex his wife is awesome.
Not every day you can say that. Not every day we can say that.
No. But the now with that, I have no problems going over there when they've got topsoil in piles that still needs to be. I just never get around to getting back over there this fall to spread the topsoil. We spread sand on it last year, and I have no problem going over there if they need anything. All they got to do is mention it, and I'll be over there. Just for the simple reason I want to keep the lasagna coming. No, because they're good kids. They really are.
Well, it's nice to give. I mean, I like to give, but it's nice also to receive.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, or at least a thank you, or at least yes, I like it.
Positive feedback, yeah.
But yeah, when I receive something, I don't know why, but I want to give more than I receive.
Mm-hmm.
So when I give something, I kind of don't want more than I gave, but something at least.
That's a skill that honestly I don't have. I would struggle even trying to like think about something like that. It's not that I'm not generous or anything, but when it's about the special things, sometimes I'm like, I don't even know those special little details exists. It's not because I'm mean or anything. It's just like I don't live through
mean boy.
Yeah.
Well, I may be egoist also. So.
Oh no, not at all. Like it's nice to receive. It's nice to give. You were talking about food. Cooking is a skill, in itself, like a big skill. Transformation of food. Yeah, I was talking to Kay earlier. Transforming food, like something you harvest, something you hunt and stuff like that. I think it's an enormous skill to have on the homestead. To her, it's like the skill to have.
Well, yeah, because you get a deer and you have X amount of meat, almost 100 pounds of meat, or if it's a moose, even more. You don't want to eat it the same way every week or every couple days. If you get a bumper crop of squash, you don't want to have fried squash every
day.
other night. Yeah.
Now wait a minute.
Why people have squash on their carport?
Now wait a minute. I have a bunch of squash and zucchinis, and I love them. But yeah, I get what you mean. Like I'm the kind of person that if I can afford to give, I will always give. I had some pickled zucchinis. I wasn't even sure if I was going to like it or not. Brought one jar at work. Everybody tried. Everyone that liked it got a free one after right after that. Like I enjoyed it. It's not because I didn't like it. It's just, hey, you like it, you enjoy it. There, a little gift.
Well, yeah, And that can go a long way in your community building, and it can encourage you to learn more skills because I like receiving. Giving is pretty cool too, though. And
That's what she says.
that's what she said.
Oh, we're not on the Patreon yet. Sorry.
No, we're not on Patreon yet. So she can still say it. That's
Yes.
I think that each and every one of us in the community, everyone participating in No Borders, Homesteaders, everybody's got a big heart and everybody wants to share because we're out there sharing our knowledge. We're trying to help people do better.
yeah.
And we don't do it for profit. We don't do it for recognition. We just do it because we're passionate about it.
And
Yeah.
also proud. I mean, something
Oh.
I'm not proud of it of, I won't talk about it. I won't
Right.
share about it.
Right. I mean, I'm happy when I can just tie my own shoes in the morning, and the fact that I've lived this long without adult supervision,
That's
that's something
good.
to be proud of.
Yeah.
And we're able to share with people and help them on their journey. I see a lot of us. I know Darren is starting to do it a little bit. I know Remy's starting to do it a little bit. We're starting to even go back into some of our roots, as far as, because when I first started thinking about off-grid homesteading or homesteading, I started thinking about the bushcraft. How do I make a fence if I can't afford to go to the farmer's co-op and buy fence posts? How do I catch a rabbit in a snare? How do I build a shelter? How do I build a fire? All these things, and it is perishable. Today I filmed my fire video, and I like the magnesium sticks. You know, you have the
Yeah.
ferro rods that'll throw sparks, but then there are magnesium sticks. You take and you shave off a bunch of magnesium from the solid block, make a good sized pile. That was my problem. I didn't make a good sized pile. And then you spark into that pile, and the magnesium instantly and gives you time to get your tinder on there. And that is a definite skill that you can lose over time, because I didn't make my pile big enough. So I ended up saying, okay, I'm not going to mess around. And I went ahead and did the old cotton ball and Purell, and still used a striker, but and it caught and stuff. But that's a perishable skill. I
Making
watched,
fire. Yeah.
I watched Trevor. Uh, he took and he worked for hours to build a fire with a bow drill and
Oh,
and and two pieces of wood. I said, I see smoke, and he was getting smoke coming up good, and he made his coal, and he took and he reached down and he turned the notch up a little bit, and the coal was there, and all of a sudden a big clop of sweat from his forehead fell right on it and put it
Oh
out.
no.
It's crazy.
He was
That's a good
so
skill to have. Like,
Too much
Yeah.
concentration.
yeah. I know exactly how it works. I never got to make a fire. Like, I tried many times. It's the thing I do, but never was able to do it.
well,
Well, that's why you have to practice.
yeah, you have
Oh,
to
I
practice
do.
your skills. It does mean no good to have a 72-hour bag. Oh, not saying that I have a 72-hour bag. No, it does me no good to have a 72-hour bag or a go bag or whatever you want to call it if I never carry it anywhere of distance. If I'm not in shape enough, if I don't know what that feels like. because the first couple times you do something like that, you are going to discover things about A, yourself, and B, the equipment. Oh man, there's a buckle right in the wrong spot of that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all these skills we need to routinely put them to use, routinely refill our mind.
Yeah, because let's face it, what you see on the internet, on TV, is not the real thing in life. You can watch videos and videos and videos about how to make fire. Once you are lost in the woods, or if you really need to make that fire to survive, adrenaline will kick in, anxiety will kick in. You might be shaking, you might be sweating. You'd never know how you're going to react. Of course, practicing is probably not the same thing, but at least if you can take your flint and start the fire right away, even if you shake a little bit or even if you sweat a little bit, you'll be able to manage it a little bit. But if you just go out there, you get lost. Let's face it, you're
Yeah,
doomed.
you got the basic skills, like let's say for bushcrafting, like a food, fire, shelter. You have to master these three things first. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like the first aid too. I mean, you can't have an EpiPen if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
If you put it on the wrong side, you'll be in shock.
Oh yeah, you get. Yeah, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
I know we had pens similar to EpiPens when I was in the military, and everybody had to put them. When you did it, it was an automatic. When you pushed it up against your leg, that's when the needle came out and automatically stuck you. Everybody was doing it in their upper thigh. I couldn't do it in my upper thigh because the needle was long enough. I was skinny enough at the time that it would hit my bone. I had to do it in my fanny. And
Interesting.
when I was tracking that deer back here, this past hunting season, I took a shot at a deer. It was a Texas heart shot, and I missed cleanly. But I wanted to track it out as far as I could. I got back here in the woods. I wasn't on my property because it left my property pretty quick. I only own 20 acres and I'm on the far side of it. But I got in this pine thicket and there was no snow on the ground. And it was really wet and drizzly. And I look around, the sky was an even gray. You weren't going to see the sun. You weren't even going to. And I'm like, which way is. I know the road is south. Which way is south? And I got to tell you, I'm like, I don't have a compass. I don't have a knife because I actually shot at the deer from right outside the backyard or, right outside the house here because it's my house and I can do that. But I was not prepared to go in the woods, really. All I had was what was up here, my rifle. I was in sweatpants. I had no way to build fire. It was rainy and wet. And that's something you got to think about is,
Hillbilly.
Yeah. What happens if I get stuck out in a place that I'm unfamiliar with because I'm not really familiar. I can go to Port Leyden and all the woods around there from the Black River all the way almost, not going to say Old Forge, but for quite a ways around there, like a 30-mile radius around Port Leyden, the woods there, I can find my way in. But I have everything I needed for here. I hadn't gained those skills yet. So that was really scary.
And it's a different thing whether like if you are used to your surroundings. It's a good thing to know what's around, like what could be around you. Let's say I go to New York for deer hunting, and I don't know the woods there. I don't know what kind of creatures I can see. I don't know what kind of spiders, snakes, or bear, or moose, or like if you come here, I know that the coyotes, bears, moose are probably the most dangerous animals you're going to get here, and 99% of the time they'll get away. So I'm not really afraid around here. And you're not afraid if you go in the woods around your property as well, because you know what the danger could be. But if you go hunting in a zone where you don't know, I could just drive 3 hours down. Like when I go around Jack and Lindsay, they have different squirrels there. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's just a squirrel, but it's different. Like I don't know how they react. Are they gonna jump on my head, or just are they gonna, like you never know. You don't know the surroundings. You don't know if there's supposed to be a lake there, if there's supposed to be a river. If I follow the stream, am I going to end up like God knows where? Like you have to be aware of all those things before you go out, and that's not necessarily a skill per se, but it's something that you have to. I don't
Keep
want
in
to say
mind.
study, but you have to study. You have to know
Yeah.
what's going on in your surrounding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can take a map of just about anywhere, especially I think it's 1 in 25,000 scale map. And I can eventually, it might take me a while, I can find out where I am on that map, intersection, resection, all that stuff I learned in the military. I'm really good at terrain identification and stuff like that. And these are skills that I have not really used. I mean, Wendy and I we went camping, and we got a map of the Adirondacks, had a compass. We followed the trail, and we said, okay, at this point we're going to leave the trail and we're going to go to this lake. There's a big, well, it was more of a pond, I guess. And so we could fish and set up the camp and everything. And so we did our whole, we got off the trail. I'm going by compass, come right out to the lake, but it was a real mushy. It was, you always have one side that's real mushy and one side that's like better. You can get up to the water without walking in 60 yards of mud. So we're walking around the lake, and I walk through, and the dog Shekinah, that was a good dog, walks through. And then when Wendy went through, the ground hornets that we had stirred up, the bees that we stirred up, started stinging her. She's
Oh,
allergic to bees. She took her shirt off. I got her away. She took her shirt off. I wiped my hand down, and I had a handful of bees from her back. So we hiked. She chugged. We hiked back to our rucksacks because I had dropped our rucksacks until we found a place to camp, and we real quick got back to our rucksacks. She downed a small bottle of Benadryl, and we made our way back out to the trail and ended up camping quite close to the trail for the night, and the weekend was pretty much shot. But
could have been a lot worse.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could have. It could have. Had we not taken the Benadryl, because when you're backpack camping, you're going for weight there because you're going to be carrying everything.
But you need to know your body as well.
Yeah,
She knew she was allergic. She needed to bring something to case.
And then the same on those same lines, when we got out to the trail, she says, I think I'm okay. I just need to sit down and rest and relax. We sat down and rested and relaxed. And she says, over there, it looks like a good place to set up a camp. Why don't we just camp there so that if something happens and I have to get out, we can do that, But these are all skills that, I hadn't used them in, back then it was 3 or 4 years. and now it's even farther. So I'm trying to learn all this stuff, and it's important to have this stuff written down, because if you don't, say your snares don't catch anything, Remy, in the next couple years, you're gonna have to know how to do that again. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna need to write down what's working, what's not working. At least we're documenting a little bit through YouTube. It's helping us a little bit. Sometimes I'll go watch my old videos and be like, okay, yeah, this is what I did, and that didn't work, so I'm gonna try this. Oh yeah, that worked. Like,
yeah.
What is the latest skills you guys learn? Me, it's like chicken harvesting. It's the
that was
latest
today.
thing. No, latest, like in the past 5 years.
I learned so much in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I would say chicken too, but chicken treatments, because I got some bugs in my chicken lately, so I had to treat them and build a pharmacy for them.
Yeah. Man, a skill I learned, running a tractor. It was something I had to learn. This is my first tractor, and I knew almost nothing about it. When I bought the tractor, the guy's like, well, why don't you hop up there, and we got a pile of gravel over here. You can move from point A to point B to get kind of used to it. And I was terrified. I'm like, I'm going to make a fool out of myself because I'm not a tractor guy.
Yes, you are.
Yes, now I am a tractor guy.
Now you're a tractor guy.
Now I'm a
See.
To me, I have to say it's everything. Like, I learned pretty much everything in the last 5 years. I've been trying to grow a garden forever, and I always struggled. And with everything that happened in the last 4 years, I had nothing better to do than, obviously we had to stay home, and I had nothing better to do than learn.
Yeah.
So I went online and started watching M.I. Gunner's videos, Justin Rose's videos, and I learned. I stuck a bunch of information in my head, went outside, tried a few different things. Some worked, some did not. I had you guys to ask questions to give me some little tips on what to change. And throughout the years, I can say that I am now capable of gardening. It's crazy. It seems like so simple for people. It's just like, well, you just put seeds in the ground. Yeah, but
In theory,
how many
can
pounds
go
of food
deep.
can you grow?
Yeah, you can go deep into gardening, or I can, solar to me is one thing that I learned. I've been to watch so many things that I learn, and then I practice. I think practice is the ultimate learning part.
And you learn things that the things you're learning, when you put it into practice, you can tailor them and learn more about what is good for you. Because who was it? Somebody had they had a method of planting their seeds. Oh, it was I can't remember who it was.
Angie?
I'm not sure. It was they used a small PVC pipe tube because their father couldn't get down on the ground to plant. So they would make the row, and then he would just drop the seed in, and it perfectly placed the seed where he wanted it.
Very resourceful.
Yeah. And that's a skill in itself, is just learning. First of all, there's the right way, the wrong way, my way, and the army way. And you'll never really find a wrong way to do something. You'll find a way that might not work,
but it doesn't make it wrong.
But it doesn't make it wrong.
Yeah, you're still learning.
If it doesn't work, it's wrong.
I think a skill we all have in the homestead is learning to fail.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Accepting defeat.
Because you'll fail at something. Every time you try something, you'll fail. you will succeed, but before you will fail. And
Well, you're in the good mood, Maryland.
well, I mean, you plant a seed, salad seed, 3 feet down, it will not germinate.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
What
you
did I
you
fail at? Pretty much everything. When I first got my chickens, I lost my rooster within 4 days.
yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that's a fail.
Well, it's a
Well,
fail that now you know what to do,
yeah.
Hopefully.
and now you
It
succeed
just didn't happen.
to
I don't know what
harvest
to do.
them.
Yeah, and it's like the guy Thomas Edison that invented the light bulb. I think it was him. Uh, he made ooh somebody's fire alarm going off.
Patrick,
Bye,
Um,
Patrick.
don't burn.
hopefully he's not out of electricity. But the guy said, "Wow, you failed that many times before you built the light bulb." He said, "No, I just learned that many ways not to build a light bulb. I succeeded in not building a light bulb that many times because homesteading is a thing where you can beat yourself up because sometimes there is a lot riding. You invest money in seeds, in tools, in all sorts of stuff. It sometimes it's money that you had to say, okay, do I spend the money on this or do I spend the money on this? And then you spend the money on this, and this goes
Bad.
bad. It goes bad, and you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Yada yada yada. You got to let stuff roll off your back to a point because
Yep. You have to accept the defeat sometimes.
yeah.
Sometimes you have to. I've been trying to grow blueberries on my property forever, and I have it didn't work, and it didn't work, and I failed, and I kept losing my blueberry bushes. And then I started reading on it, like what could be wrong, and I learned that it was about my soil acidity. I can't get my soil to the acidic level that I need them to be. And then I started reading, and I realized that you could make it work, but it would be a lot of work. You would need to amend your soil like 3-4 times a year for your soil to be at the right level. So, I accepted the defeat, and I figured I was going to try something else, and I'm blowing honeyberries instead, which is almost the same thing, but it works better here.
And anyway, blueberries grows everywhere, so you can
Yeah,
always
it
go
grows
to
in
the
the
wood
wild.
and get them for free anywhere.
Yeah,
Is that
I
a
get
blueberry bush behind Remy?
no.
No,
No? Okay.
No.
I see it grow because I know that they grow in the cracks of rocks a lot. Around ponds and lakes and stuff like that.
I see them
So-
often around where when we had fires, if the forest was burned out, you'll see the blueberries coming up.
and the bears.
Yeah.
The bears.
Pruning fruit trees is something I learned as well.
Yeah, that is a skill that you're really nervous because okay, I bought this tree as a stick, and now it's 7 foot tall or 6 foot tall. Now, if I mess this up, I'll have another 5 years or whatever X amount of years
Waiting.
with no fruit. I have yet to get pears or apples from my trees. They should be coming soon. I think what happened was I bought. They were not dwarf or semi dwarf. I think that the apple trees that I got were the lady that I bought them from at the garden center. She didn't really know what she was talking about. Because you'll have fruit in 2 years. Yeah,
You could. Do you only have one apple tree, or you have more than one?
Oh, I have one, two. I have two, three apple trees.
Yeah.
I have two Asian pears, two Bartlett pears. I have actually. I want to say is it the because one of them died. A
Plum.
plum. I think I got a plum tree that is doing really actually quite well. It hasn't flowered, but I got my first flower last year. My first blossoms. They didn't come to fruit, but it's a beginning.
What is a skill you're learning right now? Like what
Be
is today
patient.
like? Be patient.
Spring is coming somehow.
That's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah, yeah.
I'm taking an online class on foraging and medicinal plants.
Very nice, very nice.
Hmm.
We're still on YouTube. I am learning. I'm relearning stuff that I already knew about security, small element movement, and stuff like that. Because I don't know if you guys have been impacted with the social border problems, but the people that keep getting shipped to cities that have no ties to those cities are now spreading out, and we're starting to see they don't care about anything. They beat up cops. They young lady was murdered while she was running alone just recently. So I'm kind of looking into the security aspect, stuff that I knew when I was young, but now and it's kind of a good thing because it's going to get me healthy. Because what good is kicking in a door if you can't fit through it afterwards?
Yeah, no, that's no good.
Or you
learning
die of a
bees.
heart attack from being out of breath.
Yeah, don't learn how to do that. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, I'm learning bees these days.
Oh yeah,
It's,
that's true.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I hope it's gonna work. I hope I'm gonna have honey somehow.
Oh yeah.
Should be fair
It's
enough.
I want this spring because I've already had bees out this year flying. Well, they were probably out today. It's 50 degrees now.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
They're going
which
for
is
poop.
Hope so.
what's that?
They're going out for poop.
Yep,
Yeah.
they're doing their cleansing
Cleaning.
flights, which is good because they're cleaning stuff, but it's bad because a lot of the bees that go out will freeze before they make it back. It doesn't need to be very cold at all for them to freeze. But this spring I need to get that hive situated. I have to find the queen, get her where I want her in the bottom boxes, get a queen separator put in so that they'll
Excluder.
put queen excluder. That's it. And see, I need
I'm
to
learning.
relearn all that stuff before I get to that point. And
Do you usually have two bottom during the winter?
yes, yeah, a minimum of two. There have right now. I think there's four because I haven't opened that. I haven't opened that in the last 2 years, and the bees would die in the winter, and then God would bless me with another swarm coming in because there are people with bees all around me because Tug Hill is full of apple groves, apple trees, wild apple trees and stuff like that, and farms and so the beekeeping. I was a bee haver. This will be the first year, if these bees make it to spring, that I've overwintered bees, and the only reason that they survived is because I left them alone. I didn't do anything with them.
That's funny.
Well, that's a good way to go. I mean, they
Yeah.
do know how to survive.
Yeah.
You're supposed to. Yeah.
The problem is I didn't get any honey.
Yeah.
And I mean, the first year we did honeybees, yeah, they died in the winter, but out of the one hive that I had, I ended up with 80 pounds of honey, and that is nice.
Yeah. I got. I think I got 5 deep box full of old like stuff
Yeah.
that the guy gave to me as well, because a bear got into the hives and stuff. So yeah, he was afraid for his daughter and stuff. So he was selling it. But yeah, so that should help quite a bit on the production and on the get going part.
Yeah. And we're lucky because we do have this community. Basically, the No Borders Homesteaders,
Kanuki Rookies,
Canucky Rookies, the Canadian YouTubers and homesteaders. We have this where we can just in 30 seconds, I can put out a question, and within an hour, I will have all the answers. I will definitely have the right answer in the ton of answers that I get. So even though that the community, I can't be there to like go through your hives with you, I can.
You're still available for questions.
Yeah.
You're with me all the time.
And just a little tip, Tracy, if you ever ask a question and you see a bunch of different answers, look for the one that says Marilyn. She usually has a right answer.
She does.
Or the more thoughtful ones.
And it's cool because a lot of times, I put the question online, and it's funny because a lot of times you guys will actually say, well, I've got a few minutes. You'll do a little bit of research that I should have done in the first place and post the research. And one skill that we need to have, I think, is archiving to a point, because God forbid, but one day we might not have access to online or cell phones and stuff like that. Hard copy books and papers and stuff like that. Because and like plant identification. I know Remy's done a lot of foraging this past year, and he's building his skills on that, and doing quite well, actually, from what I see. You're not dead yet, so you haven't found the bad
I was
Not
gonna say
yet.
that.
Not yet.
Come on.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Don't eat the white mushrooms.
No.
Well, all mushrooms are edible.
Once. Foraging jokes, yes, I love it.
And for those who may be watching, they're edible only once because it kills you. Don't eat mushrooms if you can't positively identify them. Yeah. We need to switch over. We're going to switch over to Patreon here, guys. The after show, we're going to continue this discussion. We're going to continue our talk on homesteading skills, life skills, any kind of skills, and how they fit in with this wild and crazy life that we're leading. All right, Marilyn, where can we find you?
On YouTube at Little Homestead by the Beach. And that's it.
Patrick. Okay, Patrick.
You can find me online, social media at Patrick Cost. anytime, anywhere. I do shorts, so don't expect big content.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah, we're still training you. Remy from Rem's Family Farm. You can find me mostly on YouTube and Facebook, a little bit on Instagram as well.
All right, and I'm Tracy from Than141 Homestead. Check out the webpage, Than141homestead.com. On Facebook, I am Tracy. Instagram, I think I'm Than141 Homestead. So yeah, guys, we will see you at the after show. I'm loving this. Bye.